All right. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2. All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to a quick pop-up lesson on something we did yesterday in Chord Academy. And it's the idea of 5 steps to holding the blues note with blues licks. It's actually blues licks, jazz licks, all kinds of things, but there's something about holding the top notes that we have to get used to. So I made this little PDF, and it just for our all access group, it is in, or the Chord Academy group, it is in the folder. I sent out the link. And also, it is in the new YouTube membership. So I just put that. So shout out to my 5 people who have hit the join button and are a part of that. The newest thing we have is the YouTube community. So let's dig in. And if anybody's interested in that, I would encourage you to go for it. It's a very, very affordable way to get PDFs, courses, lessons, private lessons, all these things. So here we go. 5 steps to holding the blues note in a C7. And I would like for you to like this video if you enjoy me doing these pop-up lessons. And if you just want to say hello in the chat, that's awesome as well. So the first thing is this idea of minor third to major third. And the very first exercise is this. You're going to get used to sliding your second finger to your second finger. Same way that like learning how to slide the third finger down to the third seems foreign if we've never done that before. So what I'm going to do is just put my 4th finger on the G, think about a C triad, and just get used to this right here. 1 and 2 and 3, and you can put a little root 5th if you want. You see what I'm doing here? Now usually I have a bunch of people in the chat when I go live from my academies or even in the YouTube community, but since it's just me right now, I'm just kind of talking, but I do welcome your questions, anybody having trouble with anything, and we'll work through all of that. But notice I just have root 5th, root 6, I'm doing a C7. Now if I go to the F chord, watch what happens there. I just went to the F and I'm visualizing a triad, but I'm still thinking minor third to major third, so 2 to 2. When I go to G, I can do the same thing. And back to C. Or you can walk it up. Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Holding that top note. This is just exercise 1 of 5. And same thing on F. Getting used to that slide. Let's do that on G. Here we go. Do a blues scale coming down. And what we did yesterday, just a little side note, is I've been doing these lessons on, if you have your C blues scale, make sure you can play that going up and down. But then remember that this connects to this, what I call the connection note. That F sharp is such an important note, and it helps you kind of visualize going up and down the keyboard if you use that F sharp. So from the blues scale, I get to this note, da, 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 da. What I like to tell students is when you have the blues scale under your fingers, or even portions of the blues scale, you can play that over your entire solo, and I would think, ba, da, da, da. So here we go, ba, da, da, da. Even when I go to the F chord, which I'll do in just a second, ba, da, da, da. Going to the F chord in the bass. You hear how that still works? Blues scale coming down. Okay, but let's go back to the topic at hand, and that is this first exercise. We're about to go to the next exercise. But this is the goal. Don't sleep on this idea of holding this top note. I play a lot of different Oscar Peterson kind of licks and things, but knowing how to hold the top notes of these things is a really important skill, and we're developing that right now. So C triad, minor third to major third. And if you have that, you understand that, got it in the chat. I'm waiting for someone to connect with me. Since this is just a pop-up lesson, we're not going to get our usual people who are in the chat. F. And maybe on G. Let's just go to G. Okay, so that's exercise 1. The next exercise is this. Whenever I'm on a C chord, for instance, I can think of the F. So now we're going to expand it by just a little bit. So whatever chord you're on, go up to the 4th note, and you can play the F and A together, and then go right back to our exercise. So we have this 3 and 4 and 1 and again, or this 1. So notice that the thing that's written out up there is 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and if you're just joining us now, I did put this in the YouTube membership, so I just uploaded the link, and so it's there privately for you guys. We have 5 people, which I'm very excited about. Always looking for the next person. Hey, Peter, good to see you. Awesome, Peter. I just sent out your PDF, and it's good to see you on a Wednesday pop-up lesson. So you had this idea of, I have several PDFs that I've been wanting to write out for you guys, so I started that this morning. So that's why you're getting this PDF on a Wednesday instead of Thursday. So you have this 1, 2, and 3, and notice that we did 3 and 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you can play that nice and slow and straight. Peter knows about this lesson. We've been working on this one. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3. And notice that I did 5 different steps. I don't want you just to rush right through these. I want you to spend a little time with this concept. So we did the first exercise, and then maybe now start thinking about whenever I go to whatever chord I'm on, I'm going to go up to the 4th note and play. Think of it for F for just a second, and that gives me something to play even before I get to the C. So we have this. 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and Peter, if you're still watching, make sure, if you would, click your email just to make sure that that link went right to the folder that is Chord Academy from yesterday, and it just has that one PDF in there right now, but I just want to make sure you have access to that. Here we go. So when I went to F, what's the 4th note of the F scale, the F major scale? It goes to B flat. So I use 3 and 5 and go right back to that slide. Let's go back to C. 4 and 1 and 2. Now when I go up to the G chord, I'm going to think about what's the 4th note of the G major scale. It's all right, you got the PDF, awesome. So it goes up to the C chord, so I think C, and then I think G, and then I think about that slide. Remember that the focus for today's lesson, and really even for this next week for you guys, is to be thinking about holding those notes and getting used to holding those notes, because it really does make all the difference into how your blues licks sound. If you can get used to, there's certain notes that we hold on. So exercise 1, holding that top note with the G with the 4th finger. Exercise 2, hitting the 4th note away. If you guys are ready for the next one, just put it yes in the chat. We're doing the exercise 3, but let's just go through this one more time, thinking of the second exercise, which is thinking whatever lick I'm on, I think of the 4 notes away. So the F chord, and then I think C right away. Let's do that again. When I go to the F, I'm thinking of B flat first. Here we go. So B flat, which is the 4th note away from the F scale, and then I think minor third to major third, sliding minor third to major third, but thinking about this, really holding that C on the top. And then Peter's ready to move on to the next one, and then on G, same thing, C. And F. All right, let's go on to the next one. The next one is exercise number 3. Now this is where it starts to get really fun, is you're holding the top note, which is G up there, and notice that we're getting to my favorite inversion, which is the second inversion, Triad, so C Triad. But notice that we're getting a little tricky here because we're doing 2, 3, 2, 1. Is the fingering index finger? So I'm still thinking about visualizing the C Triad, but watch this. My index finger is hovering over that E flat, which I'm about to use. I go 2, 3, 2, 1. Holding that top G on the top. So you have and 4 and Now, those of you who have several of my blues courses, and you know who you are, that you have the licks like this, right? You have again, and all of these things connect with each other. Like when I play, and I do all these licks from the courses, it's all based on different shapes that we're working on. As I do this right here, it comes right out of this shape right there, right? There's so many different ways you can play each specific lick, and you can turn it around so many different ways. You can play the timing different ways, but the foundation of this idea is the second inversion triad. I'm going 2, 3, 2, 1. And if you like that, I know Peter likes this and enjoys that. If somebody else likes what we're doing right now, let me know in the chat that you like it. Here we go. And I'm really building up some muscle memories. I'm getting that G, holding it on the top. Now, when I go to the F chord, I would have to know my second inversion F chord. So you have root position, first inversion, second inversion. And I do the same thing where I do minor third to major third with the same fingering on F. Let's go back to C. Now what about on G? Same exact thing. Now the G triad in second inversion, I go minor third to major third with the same fingering. Let's do that again. Okay, now what we're going to do is, if you guys are ready for the next one, now what we're going to do is take the first part of this, thinking about the F chord, and then play the lick. So now we have 1. Actually, we're going to do triplet. 1. 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1, and 2. Now when I go to the F, I have to do the same thing. I think the B flat for F. I'll do a review in just a second. Now, what about for G? I'm going to have to go C chord. Again. The rhythm is 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1. F and C. Let's do a review. The first one was this. We're holding that top note. The second one is going to the F chord. Actually, this. The third one is this. We're going to go, this. I'll do it at the octave. Second inversion triad, but I'm kind of hammering on instead of sliding off. I'm doing 2, 3, 2, 1. The next one is 1, 2, and 3. And obviously I would spend a lot more time on each section. I'm just doing a brief overview of this PDF that is in the membership area on YouTube, and I can't wait for somebody else to sign up. Watch this. Let's go to example 5. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So all you're going to do is 1, 2, and 3, and here we're on beat 4, 4, and 1, and, right? So what I did is I hit the 4 chord, which is F, and then I did the minor third to major third, and I crossed over with the 4th note and surrounded the 3rd. So when I go to F, I'm going to surround the 3rd of F. And when I go to G, and I do the same thing, and F, And same thing on C. Again, and 3 and 4 and. And 4 and 1 and 2. So what's so nice about that is, notice that as I play this lick and I go to this example, I'm holding that top G right there. But you can use every single one of these ideas as exercises to practice going to different chords. The very first one is so good because it's minor third to major third, and you just do it on C, F, and G. Okay? Holding that top note. Now, if you want, you can also put this with something like blues example 1, like Peter does that warm-up as a part of his daily warm-up. Call it the Peter exercise. We go. We also have Peter's Gumbo Blues, which is a fun chart in iMusicAcademy. I love it because all of our different students have their own compositions. So we're going to keep working on this idea of. Now here's the exercise 1. When I go to F, same thing. See how important it is to hold that top note? What is up, Dave? Speaking of having your own composition, Dave's leaving on a plane. It's so much faster than the train. They tried to tell Dave it's the same, but it's so much slower on the train. I tried my best to explain. Dave's leaving on a plane. Number 4 is a bit tricky. For Peter saying a little bit tricky. Hey, Dave, I just want to say on a pop-up lesson, I know it's your time of day, but Dave, it's so good to see you jumping in. A proud member for a long time, and it's always good when we connect. All right, so, and Dave, you're going to have to give us some life updates tomorrow when we go live. All right, so watch this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, Dave says this idea of, Peter says this idea right here. This idea 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and then. Okay, so Peter, the way we're going to get this is 1, 2, and. Okay, get that far. 1, 2, and this 3, and then is your triplet. 3, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then. And this is a little bit tricky, getting this idea right here. Yeah, Dave, hey, we know you're always traveling the world. That's how we wrote that song about you. Dave was leaving on a plane, doing what he does. But yes, I know you don't have your access to your keyboard, but hey, man, just having you on the lives and hanging out is also helpful. Watch this. 2, and 3, and then. And everybody has to get used to doing the and. 3, and then 4, and then 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. I always say 4, and then for a triplet. And this is a good little reminder for everyone. Whenever you are thinking 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then, the way it works with the blues, it's like the first 2 notes get 1 note, 1, and then the last note, the third part of the triplet is 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So you start to hear it where you're doing the triplet, 1, and then 2, but it's not as scary as it sounds because it's just the first 2 notes, 1 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. The first 2 notes go with the first beat. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, and that helps you get your your swing feel. All right, so G says the G is too stretchy. It's too much of a stretch. Okay. So Peter, on that, here's what I'll say: is don't even worry about holding the G at the top. That's a great point is if it's a little bit too much of a stretch for you to do that, it's better to just play it like this, just like you're probably wanting to play it. It doesn't matter at all. The more important thing is the concept on the things like the triads of just getting used to when you can hold that top note. Now, I demonstrated this yesterday, is that let's say if I was doing C minor, this kind of lick in a jazz world, if I just did this, it doesn't sound as good, but if I do this, this right here, you can hear it, right? So there are reasons that we hold certain notes, but you're making total sense with that, Peter, and I would just say just do that. That's absolutely fine, but on this one, you can hold that top G. All right, what is up, Jeffrey? One of the most consistent guys ever when I go live. So Jeffrey, shout out to Jeffrey today. All right, here we go. Let's do these again. Remember that as we play through these, I want you to know that I did 5 steps to holding the note in blues licks. Once you have this, you will always have it. And I'm not showing you this in a short amount of time just to say cycle through all the exercises. I would rather have you spend a little time on C, or the very first exercise, and go. Like we're building up muscle memory. Doesn't matter what chord I go to, but we're staying in the C blues. F chord, here we go. Same muscle memory. It doesn't matter if I was playing a different bass line. If I'm doing like the New Orleans groove, we go. Again. Same thing on F. Holding that top note. Same thing on G. F. Okay, now let's go to the second example. What I love about the second example is you use your fingers 3 and 5, and you come in on beat 2, for instance, and it gives you something else to think about. Instead of just playing a blues lick, I can think, oh, F, which is the 4 chord away from the C blues, and I go, actually, I did the fingering wrong. 1, 2, and 3, and you see how we're doing that? It's just like when you play this lick right here, it goes and it passes through the F chord in second inversion. That's exactly what we're doing right here. So we go. That top note. Top note. Top note. See how I'm just spending time on this? That was just 2 exercises. The very first one is this. Same exact muscle memory, and then I went, okay, I can go to the F chord too. All right, I'm very thankful right now. We have 10 people watching. That's awesome for a pop-up lesson. I'm always pleasantly surprised that even on a non-academy day for our students, everything, I just show up live on YouTube, and we're getting much more traction these days, which I absolutely love. Now, I am waiting for the next person to sign up for our newest thing is our YouTube community. And if you just hit join, you can see all the fun things that we have to offer. And another thing, we have 5 members so far of a newly created thing, but I'm looking for the next person. Very affordable way to get a bunch of stuff, including this PDF that is uploaded now. The third one is this. You have 1. Let me try that again. What's up, Hugh? Good to see you. Okay, the third one. I'm trying to focus in to see if I can see this, but it's actually this one. So Hugh is a member of everything at iMusicAcademy and always showing up for the lessons, even on a pop-up lesson. The second inversion, my favorite triad. Everybody get this. If you can hold the top note, great. If you can't, if it's too big of a stretch, don't worry about it. Because this lick that's from volume 2 that goes... Doesn't hold anything. It just goes right to it. It goes. And it sounds absolutely fine, but I'm just showing you if you want to, you can do this to get used to. Now I'll do all three. Here we go so far. All right, the next one is going to the F chord. The third exercise is this. When I go to F, same thing. I have to think of the F and I go. I'm thinking minor third to major third, second inversion. When I go to G, it's the same thing. Okay, now let's go to the fourth exercise, which we're going to go first off. I can think of the F chord. This makes me really happy when I show up on a pop-up lesson and to see all of our faithful members. You guys are amazing. All right, so watch this. And make sure you download that PDF. 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and what a fun way to do it. If you can't hold the octave there, just go. But in addition to having the notes and the fingerings and to practicing these things one at a time, you're building up, you're getting your ear training and your muscle memory going. So you're doing this, you think of the F chord and you go. Okay, now let's do the fifth one. We just did 1 through 4, and the next one goes to the F again, the 4 chord away, and you go 1, 2, move into position, and 3, and then watch this. You cross over to once again think about the 4th note of the whatever chord you're working on, and then you go minor third to major third and up to the root, which we know this idea of going third up to the root right here, isn't that just an awesome thing to do? Right from the blues when you go. Same thing on F. Same thing on G. And blues scale. Or actually not, half steps. All right, now, this right here, I love this because you know what this is. This is the enclosure. What in the world is an enclosure? That's when you surround a particular target note, in this case to the thirds. And if you'll notice, almost everything we're doing in this whole lesson is based on thirds, minor third to major third. So when I go, that's this exercise number 5, that's where it ends up. So you go. Isn't that nice? You go. Now when I go to the F chord, watch what happens. I think of B flat, which is the 4th note away, and I'm going to go 4th note of F, B flat, surrounding the 3rd of F. Everybody who can type something in, type the number 3, because we're going to be focusing on the thirds. This whole exercise is focusing on some nice thirds, minor third to major third. So watch this. Third. Watch on F. Back to minor third to major third. Same thing on G. Da, da, da. Hey, we're going to have to why don't we bring back, in honor of Dave P., I don't know if Dave's already signed off or not, but Dave P. joined us in our stream today, and Dave P. is one of the first original iMusicAcademy members who we wrote that song, Dave's Leaving on a Plane, which is quite famous among iMusicAcademy family, right? Dave's Leaving on a Plane. Why in the world is Dave P.'s such a nice song? Because one, it has lyrics, and Dave was traveling the world playing golf. He was on the tarmac, and he was watching the stream, and so he wrote a blues song about him. But what I love about the Dave P song is it's all pentatonic, minor pentatonic. So the difference between the minor pentatonic scale and the blues is just it doesn't have the F sharp in it, right? That's our blues, that's our pentatonic. So the whole song, Dave's leaving on a plane, so much faster than the train. They tried to tell him it's the same, all minor pentatonic, but it's so much slower on the train. I tried my best to explain, Dave's leaving on a plane. And that's a fun exercise. So I'll put that in the membership area as well. I think I'll put that in the YouTube and the all access community. So that's a fun thing. As soon as I hang up from this in my YouTube community, where you just hit join and you join us, you'll be number 6 in there, and it's very, very affordable, and it's a crazy amount of things you get for just joining our YouTube community. Okay, so Dave's leaving on a plane will be in there as soon as we get done with this stream. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put all this together, and then we're going to wrap this lesson up. I'm going to go about another 5 to 7 minutes. So as I'm practicing this, and I do the same thing that I'm telling you guys to do, it's like if you want to play this bass line, root 5th, root 6th, do that. If you want to do our trio, if you're in the mood to play trio, do 3, 5, 7, 9, and do this. 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you want to put a little rhythm with it, you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and then you go to F, same thing. So you get this going. The next thing is, that's just example 1, and spend time with the G chord. Now, if you guys have enough, if you're more of an intermediate level, maybe you want to do the 8th note bass line. 1 and then 2 and then 3, and it goes back to this idea. If you're trying to figure out how to get sort of that swing kind of feel, that's not just going. If you want to get that swing feel, it's actually the same thing that we just talked about earlier. 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then the bottom 2 notes, the first 2 notes, get the 1 and then. So the third beat gets the second set of notes. Let me try to say that a better way. C and G happens twice, right? But the first one is held for 2 beats. 1 and then. 1 triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. And once you start to understand that this whole groove is based on triplets, there are times in the past where certain people have said, oh, I make it sound easy to do, and they can't get their feel right, and things like that. And all it is learning how to think about it in triplets. 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then. So the first one is held a little bit longer. 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then. And the other very important trick for 8th notes, everybody listen to this, is you have to repeat the bottom note. 1 and then. It doesn't work if I accidentally hold down the bottom note too long. Okay, so that's if you want to do 8th notes. If you want to do sort of the New Orleans groove, then you go 1 and 2 and 3 and. Holding that top note, F. For G, blue scale. Okay, now the next one is the thinking of F, A to E flat. The next one is going to this one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Oh, and then the next one has that 1, 2, and 3. So take each one of those and spend a little time on that. Okay, one or two more little tips that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Always use a metronome or some kind of thing. Oh, what's up, Doug? Awesome. Hey, Doug, that's good to hear and good to see you. Doug is the very first member of the YouTube community. So Doug, go check out the member area, because I put this, and I'm putting in Dave's Leaving on a Plane. Dave's Leaving on a Plane for everybody. So I'm looking for that 6th member. Just hit join and see if it's a great way to support the stream. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off, but let me just make sure there isn't anything else that I wanted to tell you guys related to your practice time. I would say this. You have examples that you've been working on. If you've been hanging out with me, you know, I know what I was going to tell you, is you have certain examples like this. Example 1 from my first blues volume, right? It's great for the fingers. So you take an idea like this first example, and you could just play this and practice on this, but also put it in context of something else you've been working on, like this. Now I'm going to practice that one thing. Here we go. Now, at iMusicAcademy, the most important thing I call shape 1 is the first 5 notes of the blues scale, and you know that, right? All those notes are going to work in any order on any chord. You also have the secret sauce going down 3 half steps, and now you're at the A blues scale first 5 notes. So maybe your idea for today is doing the first 5 notes of the blues scale, or the first 5 notes of the first 5 notes of the C minor blues scale, or the A blues scale. So let me demonstrate that. While at the same time I'm thinking about this first exercise. So we have this. Or this. Here we go. Let's do that again. Now F. Back to the first exercise. Awesome, guys. All right. I've got all my students going to the doctor. I love it. Well, I mean, you know, it's good to go to the doctor when you need to go to the doctor. Awesome. Hey, it's really great hanging out with you guys today. I have one more fun thing to tell you, since a lot of my members are on here, is somebody really liked the idea of the unison, how I a lot of time will play the same ideas in both hands, right? I do a lot of blues kind of things like that. So I'm actually putting together some exercises to help with that. Now we have the 20 tips for 5-minute practice success that does a lot of all those kinds of things, but we're going to do that. We have this idea of I'm going to be showing you how to lock up the hands. So there are just certain ways that you have to know how to do the hands, because they're different when you play the same line. So just know that we're working on some fun little things where you can learn how to lock up the hands and play these unison lines. All right, guys. Awesome. Thank you, Doug, for your nice positive review of the YouTube channel. I'm excited about the YouTube channel. All right, so I'm going to hang up now. I'm going to go get Dave's Leaving on Plane. I'm going to upload it into the membership area on YouTube. And then for my all access members, I'm putting the same thing, Dave's Leaving on a Plane, in our lesson for tomorrow. Awesome. Very good. Yeah, that's a good one. And I love the way it ends up too. Take that and put it on all keys. You go for F, for G, same thing. All right, guys, have a good one. You guys made my day by being on here today, so thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.